let me take you on a little journey. Join me in Costa Rica by this beautiful river where I am going to be guiding you on this special adventure, combining some hypnotic bedtime story and also gentle but deep relaxation. And if you have anything in your life that you feel like you are pushing through or in tension, this beautiful story about young water that is finding its home will invite you to also become like water, and you'll be falling asleep and staying asleep, relaxed and trusting like never before. And so I want you to find a really comfortable way of lying down, and we are just going to focus on the beautiful sounds of the river and the nature. Really allow yourself to be there, to be here, and only listen to the sounds, and only listen to my voice. And a part of that, there is nothing else required from you. So let's begin. Deep, deep inside of the earth, there was Mother Water with some young, unexperienced water that just came down as a rainfall, and deep in the dark crevices. And it must have been a very special night. Either the harmony of the moon and the nature, or the electricity through the thunders, or perhaps the shamanic ceremony close by. But something special happened that night. The young water that came down from the rainfall suddenly had a very special and strange properties. It could think. And immediately it thought, I need to find my home. It didn't feel satisfied deep in the earth, in this dark place, in this cold place where nothing, or hardly nothing, ever happens. It was squeezed in the crevices. And as soon as it thought it needs to find home, it was hoping that somehow it will be able to make its way all the way to the sky, because it came down as a dripping water, as drops. And with this hope, it set on a journey. And it sprung from this spring, and it started flowing very gently, for the first time seeing the light of the day, the beautiful sunsets, and the relaxing nature. as well all the beautiful sounds. And as the mother water saw the young and experienced water to go on such adventure, being so worried to find home, it also sent a little fish with it. The fish's name was Whiskers, and Whiskers was swimming alongside this young water. It was all happy and bubbly to begin with, just gently flowing into this new adventure, enjoying the sights, enjoying the colors, and also some other fish, until it starts seeing these big rocks ahead of itself. It saw that these big rocks and stone were in the way, and somehow it couldn't stop flowing. No matter how hard it was trying to stop, it was not able to stop its flow. And in its mind's eye, it saw all the leaves and the twigs being smashed against the rocks, and it was so afraid that the similar fate would await it ahead of itself as well. And so it was flowing and flowing and really having a lot of fear. But as it was coming closer, gently with the flow, Whiskers simply reminded it, and it said, "Don't worry about the obstacles. The obstacles are the path." And so the water didn't know what else to do, and so it just did what a water does. It floated and floated, and it went round the rocks. Sometimes it slowed down, and sometimes it sped up, just like gravity was inviting it on this beautiful journey, until it passed all the big rocks and realized that really the obstacles were the interesting part. The obstacles were the fun part. And it started looking at life from a little bit different perspective. And again it was on its way, effortlessly, this time with more wisdom, was going round the big rocks and the small rocks, not as afraid anymore, more relaxed, deeper relaxed, simply effortlessly letting itself go and float and flow. And of course sometimes it would come to a point where I needed to simply stop. I just had to be patient until the gravity pulls it again, and maybe it had some opinions about it and some ideas, but essentially it realized that there is nothing it can do about it. And so the water relaxed, even though this whole relaxation simply happened only in its thoughts. As the water itself was always perfect, at the perfect moment, on the perfect place, and there was nothing it could speed up or slow down. It simply let itself be taken and pulled, and let yourself, or let itself being floated until suddenly, drop by drop, there was a rain coming. At first, the water was happy to see its brothers and sisters, but soon enough the drops became bigger and faster, and before it knew it, the water got very murky, very muddy, got a bit brown, and suddenly it couldn't see very much. Suddenly it couldn't see where it's going at all, and it started panicking. Oh no, what am I gonna do now? How am I gonna go? I can't go back, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to get home, but I have no idea what's going on. And at this moment, Fish Whiskers was just swimming with it and didn't say a word. And so the water started to panic a little bit more. Whiskers, why aren't you not saying anything? I can't see anything. It's so muddy here. It's so dark, and it's getting dark. What if I smash myself on a rock? Or what if we just run into a big wall or something like that? And Fish Whiskers didn't say anything either. It was simply floating with it perfectly with the current, effortlessly, side by side. And then simply whispered to the water, and it said, what if there was nothing you can do? And with that, the water started panicking even more. It already imagined its horrible fate. Because surely there must be something to do. Surely there is a way, and it needs to find the way. It can't make a mistake, and it needs to control it somehow. There must be something to do. And with that, it had a lot of tension and a lot of thoughts and a lot of overthinking as it was flowing through the murky, muddy waters, until it was simply so discouraged by its own thoughts. It just felt so alone and so depressed and so afraid and so helpless. But there was a point that the water simply gave up. It said, I'm just giving up. It's too much effort to trying to come up with the best plan. It's too much. It's just so painful to feel so helpless, to have all these hopes about getting into the sky and be in this vast space on the clouds. But trying to do that hurts me so much. And so in that moment, it just gave up. And the moment it gave up, it relaxed completely, and it started to trust And as it started to trust, it relaxed even more. And somehow it felt so comforting and so effortless, so gentle, so bubbly. It was floating gently with no effort. With no effort as the physical water, and also no effort in its thinking. And as it was just floating, it noticed that it felt in this immense peace suddenly. And nothing really changed. The water was still pretty muddy and murky. Just that this time it felt so peaceful and really trusting. More relaxed than ever. Deeply, deeply surrendered. And the more effortless it was, the water also noticed that it started to be so enjoyable. It was so enjoyable being able to float in this beautiful, bubbly manner around the rocks with small waterfalls, with the fish sometimes. No matter what happened, it was okay. All the obstacles in the way were the path. And when the water completely surrendered and completely enjoyed this journey, even with all the rapids and waterfalls and big rocks, suddenly it felt being pulled by some greater force, and it was being pulled and pulled until suddenly it dissolved into the vast ocean. And it looked at Whiskers for the last time, because Whiskers accomplished its goal to accompany the water to the ocean, and he was about to go back. They simply looked at each other, and they didn't have to say anything. They simply had this beautiful understanding of each other and trust. They simply trusted one another that they can handle whatever comes up. And then the water just went into the ocean and dissolved into the vastness. It dissolved into the beautiful colors and greatness of the big mass of the ocean. And with that, all the thoughts about what home should look like, whether it should look like a sky or anything else, all those thoughts simply dissolved as well. until there was nothing left, nothing left to say, nothing else to think other than simply experience the effortlessness, the relaxation, the being itself, with no resistance, welcoming all in its way. Until there was nothing to welcome. There was no other way than simply only what is. Never ending, never starting vastness of the ocean